Right, so hopefully we all know why we're here. So we're talking about the promotion to production today. So this is the time at a point where an organisation receives its PAV approval and it's been passed its qualification, and they need to be promoted from the UIT environment into the production environment once they've received their PAV qualification. So the set of activities that need to be undertaken is a reduced set of activities when compared to the initial onboarding. We've tried to left load all the tasks, and hopefully you guys have been going through that over the last couple of months. And so the move to production is a lot simpler and a lot easier than what's been happening over the last couple of months. So important notes, I'm not covering at all about waves, timelines, etc. I don't know that information. I haven't got that information. You need to talk to the qualification team about that. I'm only covering the technical aspects of the move to production. And timescales on this, well, I would expect most participants should be able to do this within a week, because it is dependent upon how you align your resources and your DCP partners. And to be explicit, there's no global sign betting carried out at this stage because it's all performed previously. So those familiar with the onboarding guidelines would be familiar with this diagram, which is this is a copy and a simplified version of the UIT onboarding. So the stages you need to undertake is accessing the DIP portal, member management, certificate management, but obviously not all the certificate management steps. DIP ID management is a different set of operations and message channel setup. What happens when... Hi, Chris.
I can't see the slides. I don't know if it's just me.
Once the DIPManager gets the approval for an organisation to be promoted into production, they will extract the company setup from UIT. This is basically generates a small JSON file of company details, including the DIP IDs, DCP IDs. And then there's an import of that file into production, and there's a setting of the effective from and effective to dates. Once that's been imported into the production system, an invite is then sent out to the primary user admin. Oops. So member management, the user base for each organisation is not copied from UIT. It is recognised that many companies will have different user bases between production and production environments. That is why we don't copy the users across. As I say, there's no certificate, there's no requirement to onboard global sign. New global signing certs and DIP MHHS signing certs are required. DIP ID management, as I said, MPIs, DIP IDs, DCP IDs are copied over, and DIPManager updates the effective from date of each DIP ID according to the PAV guidance. The qualified party needs to download the pertinent API keys for each production DIP ID, and then message channel setup. The updated webhook configuration is updated in the production system by the participant. Wrong way. So again, I'm just saying the same things again. So the user setup, I'm not going to go through here particularly, but it's as per slide 17 to 21. Actually, I do have a screen on it, actually. The management is accessible from the member sub-tab on the market participant organisation page in the DIP portal. So here, you'll need to, a certain admin and message admin need to be added as the first task to complete the onboarding into production. So hopefully you're all familiar with this. Obviously, you can invite members from outside your organisations if you're nominating a DCP to help you with your management of the DIP. Again, you need to contact the DIP manager to say which whitelisted domains you require to be put against your organisation. Adding users, hopefully you've all been through this in the UIT environment, but just to reiterate, you just need to click on the Create Member tab on the members tab. We just add people with their first name, last name, email address. The email address is the drop down is limited to the whitelisted domains, and then obviously the organisational role. And you can select individual DIP IDs or all DIP IDs for individuals.
We've got a raised hand from Joe Kill.
Hi, Joe.
Hi, Rob. Just a quick one. When the export is done from UIT into prod with the company details, will that include, for those of us that have got multiple MPIDs and so therefore have a parent organisation set up in UIT, will that same setup be copied over to prod so that we can do the the user management via the parent organisation rather than through the child organisations?
Yeah, absolutely. So what will happen with you as an example, I'll take National Grid as an example, because they have a parent organisation, National Grid, and then they've got their 4 child organisations, one for each of their DNO areas. We will do an export with the parent company first, and then we'll import that into production. Then we do an import to all the individual organisations after that. Make sure they're all linked together, and then we will send out the invite the principal, the primary user admin, obviously from the parent organisation.
Perfect. Thanks, Rob.
Certificate management. So there's no requirement to onboard a global sign. So no new global sign signing certs and MHLS certificates are required.
We've got a question in the chat from Michael Cowgill. Will the whitelisted domains be copied from UIT into production as well?
No. Because some of the organisations have got quite a list of them, and I think it's a good chance to clear them up. Yeah, some of them have got like 7 whitelisted domains. I think it's a good chance for organisations to clean them up, as I said. So,
sorry, Rob, I've got an extra question just from the last slide. Obviously, you've noted that we require a new set of MTLS certificates. I know you and I have had a bit of back and forth regarding that global sign side for us, considering that we've got multiple organisations. Have you had anything back from Global Sign regarding whether we can have a single MTLS certificate linked to multiple identity profiles, or is that still up in the air at the moment?
That's still out there at the moment, Joe. I can get back to you on that afterwards.
Okay. All right, thank you.
So certificate management. So over the last 6 months, I think we've all learned how to use Atlas. I have one for sure. And it's quite simple. If you've got a single organisation with a single company with a single set of API credentials and a couple of certificates. However, over the last, say, 6 months, we've been onboarding all the LGSOs, and there's other suppliers out there that run sort of multiple companies under their organisation. And we found how this works in global sign. So the idea is you create multiple identities, one identity for each company. So this is the example shown here is for Elexon Flex, the DIPManager test company. Luckily, the Elexon have got another company which I've latched onto called Elexon Clear, and I've created an identity profile under my Atlas account to show how an organisation with multiple companies what it should look like in Atlas. So here I've got, say, Elexon Flex and Elexon Clear, and you can see it's linked to the 2 different organisations. So if you're running multiple companies, this is what your Atlas profile should look like. So then under identity profiles, I think I've got a screen dump for the next one, domains. You need to link, if you've got multiple companies, I was talking to Chris about this just 20 minutes ago, you'd need to link your different identity profiles to the domain. This isn't done automatically. If you've got one company, it's done automatically. But if you've got multiple identity profiles, you need to do this for any new identity profile. You can link it to the same domain, that is not an issue, but you need to make the link. And the link to the domain is important because when you generate your cert, the domain is embedded in the cert, and that's used against when you verify the cert. It's done against the name in the domain.
Rob, we've got a question from Danielle. Are we able to add additional users to Global Sign Atlas?
Yes, you are. I did have my. I can go through that at the end actually, because I have got my Global Sign Atlas account up and running, and then we can go through any issues on Global Sign at the end, and I can actually go through the account. So I'll do that at the end, as I say. Yeah. So yeah, you see you need multiple domains, one for each identity profile, but it can be the same domain. So the promotion to production certificate manager. So you'll need a new set of API credentials and PFS certificate. No, you need a production. You need a new set of API credentials and a PFS certificate for MHLS signing. So you need to undertake step 4.2 from the full onboarding guide, which generates the new set of API credentials and PFS certificate, which gets loaded into the DIP. This is just the summary. Again, this is the slides 37 to 48, which is in the full onboarding guide. I won't go into it again here. If anybody's got any problems with the generation of the API credentials and the API secret and key and PFS certificate, which loads into DIP, I can take them at the end. But hopefully everybody's been through this pain. So in the Global Sign portal, you'll have a set of API credentials. So typically, we recommend you have a set of API credentials for non-production environments and a different set for production environments. It's just that it's easier to manage and control, because obviously if you revoke a set of API credentials, you might want to revoke a set in non-production environments but maintain independence from production. That's why we recommend having different sets. You can have multiple, you can have the same set, but it's not what's recommended. We can't force you to have two sets, but as I say, the guidance is a set of API credentials for each environment. And then you need to generate an MHLS cert or a combined MHLS signing cert. They need to follow steps 4.5 from the full onboarding guide. Again, the steps here are exactly the same for you at onboarding, and it's slides 50 to 57 in the full onboarding guide, which is the version 4.0, which is on the DIPManager website. The end result is a PFS certificate used for signing messages. So I know that many of you guys in the LDSO community are using CNC for your support for generating these certificates. So typically they will do steps 1 and 5 for you, but you'll need to do steps 2, 3, and 4. Steps 1 and 5 are the technical steps that require the OpenSSL commands or however they do it. The steps 2, 3, and 4 are a lot easier. Again, if you have any issues, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Once you've loaded up the certificates into the DIP, you need to generate a new set of API credentials, because obviously they're not the same between non-production and production environments. Again, that's simply done against each DIP ID, and then you'll need to copy give the API keys to your technical staff, or they will do the step for themselves. And then message channel setup. So the MPs and the DIP IDs are copied over. You've got the API keys. The next thing you need to do is set up all the webhook URLs. So we do recommend using the API to do this rather than the portal. The reason for this is that it uses the production certificates which have been loaded into the DIP. So the validity of the certificates can be tested before any actual message exchange can be initiated. So this is why we recommend using the API. And that's it. That's after that, you should be good to go. I said it's going to be short and sweet, but hopefully there's lots of questions that people can be asking. If not, I can go into the Atlas portal and show people how to do some management there as well. But I guess I've got some questions.
Yeah, Shazia, raise your hand first.
Hi, yeah. Are there any risks with having multiple API credentials? So I think what you were saying is you recommend just having the one associated with each one environment, but I just wondered if there's a risk.
So we recommend one per environment is to reduce the risk really. So it's just having a set of credentials for production and a set of credentials for non-production environments. That's the guidance.
Okay, but is there, so you said to reduce the risk. What is the risk? Sorry, I don't quite understand.
Well, the risk is just any security breaches on a non-production. Hopefully, the people have tighter controls around production systems and not have API keys. So you would expect organisations to have far better security around production environments, non-production environments.
Yeah, fair. Okay, thanks.
There was another hand.
We've got just a question from Ellie, a request to please provide a link to the UIT environment onboarding for those in SIP placing reliance.
Yes, if anybody that hasn't had an invitation into UIT, and when they think they have, I know there's been it's been a bit of a gap between some of the SIP participants. Please reach out to the DIPManager mailbox, and we can onboard you, or equally reach out to the qualification team.
We've got a raised hand from Chris Butterfield.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, Rob. Is there any link between having multiple IDs on Global Sign and having multiple roles on the DIP portal? I.e., if you've got multiple roles on Global Sign, does that mean you have to have multiple roles on the DIP, or can you just have a DIP sign-on with like your supplier role and your MOP role on the same portal?
Yeah. So with yourself, Ovo, we're going to get you set up with a parent organisation, and then you have your child organisations underneath it, your different companies,
yeah.
and then the user base in the parent organisation can access the child organisations.
Right.
And then each of the child organisations will need to be different identity profiles within the Global Sign. And those organisations in the DIP can have multiple roles. There's no concept of roles within Global Sign.
Okay. Okay. All right. Nice one. Thank you.
Question from Chris Sanders.
Hi, Chris.
Hi. Sorry, I missed the very beginning of this meeting, so apologies if this is already covered. Do we need to create? So if we've already created identity profiles for UIT, do we have to create them again for prod, or is it just new API keys for prod?
Hi, Chris. No, it's just one identity profile per company, which is shared across. That is per company. That's at company level.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Cheers.
Question from Michael. Question in general for after the onboarding, after setting up your certificates and completing onboarding, can we continue straight away to setting up the message channels? Also, notice that in the API page, the webhook registration seems to be aligned to IR 7.2. Will this be updated to IR 8 in the future?
It shouldn't be aligned to. I don't know what the difference between 7.2 is. Who asked the question?
Michael Dubos.
Mike, you there?
Yeah, hi, I'm here.
Why do you think it's 7.2?
So yeah, I was noticing when I opened so on the message channel page, when I view data dictionary and interface schema, I see that the send messages and receive publications is aligned for IR 7.2, and we've been so far we've been testing on DIPSIM on IR8. So we were just wondering if that's going to be updated to IR8 in the future.
Oh, so you're talking about the version of the portal. Now, the portal is compliant with the latest version of it. The two are not necessarily aligned, but the DIP portal is fully compatible with the latest release.
Okay, that's fine. And so we can continue with registering our
yeah,
webpages straight away. We don't need to wait for any confirmation from the program.
No, absolutely. It's all at your own speed.
Okay, so great. So we've got certificates and we can just continue with webpage registration. Thank you. Got
Yeah,
you.
absolutely.
Chris Betterfield, is that a legacy hand raised? Yep. Haven't had anything come through on Slido yet either.
Okay, so shall I talk about? I can ask people ask some questions on global sign if they like them. So I'll share my global sign. Okay. So I forgot who asked the question about global sign adding users. So I was showing Chris earlier this. So under account, so you click on the user icon at the top right, go under account settings, and you go to users. And my session's expired, so I need to log in again. Bear with me, it shouldn't take 2 seconds. You'll see here, you've got the users that run to your organisation. Obviously, their roles. There's only one role within the Atlas portal, email, and with their status. So just click on the invite user, and you can create a user that way. If you need to change your primary user, if you click on account, because I know people leave organisations and move jobs, etc. Primary contact details appear at the top. You just click on the change primary contact, and you can choose from your list of users who you want to be your primary user. Quite straightforward, really.
And they don't need vetting or anything like that. They can just be added. Okay.
No, so the vetting only happens because it's that first contact with Global Sign where that lead user gets vetted, and after that the trust is imparted to the organisation.
Okay, yeah. And this applies to SIT, UIT, and prod.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Atlas Global Sign is independent of the DIP. Really, we just say that the identity profiles go across the different environments. So I'll go back to the identity profile tab. So under here, we've got Lexon Flex. So that can, Lexon Flex won't be in production, but it could be in production if it was obviously a genuine account. And Lexon Clear, the same. But then if we go into the API credentials, I've got multiple ones here, but as I say, typically we would expect two for each identity profile. So one for production, one for non-production. And then you link that to your certificates as well. So just, if you've got any issues, I think the best way to sort of get familiar with the Global Sign portal is just explore different menus. It's once you get the hang of it, it does make sense.
Oh yeah, no thanks. I just didn't know about that account one.
Any other questions from anybody?
Nothing yet.
Can't believe I've done this in 32 minutes.
Are we circulating these slides afterwards?
Yeah, definitely can circulate the slides. I said it is a lot less work than the initial onboarding. I said we have tried to left load this, so all the hard work and getting familiar with generating the certs has been done in UIT. So the work in production is meant to be a lot less. In production, we're not there's no creating DIP IDs. That whole capability has been disabled. Again, for it's just trying to keep the production environment as slimline as possible and keep all the functionality out of it and keep all that in UIT. So all the work happens in UIT, and then all the serious exchange of messages happens all the configuration work happens in UIT, and then all the exchange of messages happens in production. That's the thinking behind the setup.
Raised hand from Sonia.
Hi, Sonia.
Hello, hi. Just I don't know if it is a dumb question. When the certificate is due for renewal, does it have to be renewed at both Global Sign as well as on the DIP portal?
Yeah, I believe so. I will be looking at a certificate renewal after this bit of works is finished. Obviously, we're quite busy at the moment. I will be looking at certificate renewal probably post M10 or M11 probably. And obviously guidance will be sent out hopefully well in advance.
Okay, thank you.
A question from Nick.
Yeah, hi there. Just a quick one about webhub subscription via the API. Is the expected behavior that you will be able to see if you, for example, do that? Would you still see the subscribe to webhooks and endpoints? Would that still appear in your portal as confirmation the subscription has worked?
So once hopefully you'll get an API response to say your request has been successful, and then you just go into the portal and the URL will be against the webhook.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
It's not hidden at all.
Yeah, cool. Thanks.
John Wiggins.
Oh dear, it's John. Hi,
John.
John.
People haven't asked you difficult enough questions today, so I've got no. Only joking. What should people expect on? So when LDSOs can obviously start their onboarding on the 4th of August, what should they expect to happen on that day or leading up to that day? Will there be any messages sent out to them, or is it a case of that they just start from, the first step in your publish process?
So from a DIPManager perspective, I think the program will probably be sending out more communications, because I'm sure that the wider program will have its plan, will have its timelines, etc. From just a DIPManager perspective, we will do the week before we're planning to do the export, so we don't have to do, because all the configurations will hopefully be fairly static. They are getting pretty static now. There's a few DCP ID changes that we're talking about with CNC. They all need to happen. So the week before we'll be doing the exports from UIT, and then on the 4th, when the environment becomes available to us, when Abinard hand it over, we'll start to be doing the imports. We'll probably start with the DCP the DIP connection providers, because obviously they provide the back. They need to be there first. So then we do the DCPs, and then we'll be doing the parent organisations as well. Like, for example, National Grid, we're doing the National Grid parent organisation. And then we'll be doing, obviously, the child organisation. So we've got and then also we'll be doing Elexon as well. I keep on forgetting Elexon and forgetting Retco as well for EES. They'll also be receiving the invites on the 4th to do their onboarding. So we think we've got about 40 organisations to onboard. There'll be 3 or 4 of us working on it that day. So hopefully we should be able to, if all things being equal, we should be able to get through it on the Monday. So participants can expect sometime on the Monday to receive that invitation from the portal, and the link will be to the production platform, and obviously that'll be to the primary user admin. At the moment, there's a task being undertaken by the DIPManager team just to reconfirm the primary user admins for each of the LDSOs, because we realise that participants may want to change their primary user admins. Again, people leaving, you might have a different department within your organisation for dealing with production systems. So we recognise that. That email's, I think, gone out this week. And once that's all complete, we're just getting this all information. We've got a big spreadsheet. And then, say on the 4th, we start sending out the invites to those people we've captured their names on. That's what our overall plan is. How the wider program works, well, we just hopefully fit into it.
Yeah, cool. So that's the key message, isn't it? Just for people to wait basically until they get the invite, and then once they've received that, they can then start the process. Yeah,
if there's any delay, then obviously we've got the list of contacts. We send out emails saying why there's been a delay, if there is a delay. That's not a problem. Say if there was a delay from Avanade to release the environment for whatever reason, then we just send out a holding email just to keep people in the loop, as it were.
Great, thanks, Rob.
We've got a question from Michael.
Hi, Michael.
Hi again. Just another question about the webhook registration again. So using the using the API, are you able to register webhooks for message channels that you don't not have a rule code assigned to, or is it because I saw if you do it manually through the portal, you're not allowed to, but using the API, are you able to register to a webhook for a message channel that you do not have a rule code aligned to?
So I'm not quite sure. You can still, so to register your webhooks, you can either use the API or you can use the portal. It's up to you which one you choose. But say using the API does give you the added benefit of you've got the ability to test your certificate.
But so for example, say your rule code is like supplier, but are you able to register using API for a message channel that suppliers don't have a rule code for?
So your webhooks need to be registered by DIP ID, and each DIP ID will have its own certificate.
Okay, so basically the answer is no.
Yes, you've got to use the right certificate for the right DIP ID, as you were for sending a message.
Okay, that's fine.
A question from Gwijes.
Hi, this is just to check that, as you have mentioned that promotion will be from UIT to prod. So what about the SIT participants? Is it because suppose if for them first it need to be transferred from the SIT to UIT, but if SIT participant there is no intention to do any testing in UIT, so is it only the minimal transfer will happen, no need to set up any certs, any activity into the UIT?
So there is advice on that already. I wrote a paper on this, or a guidance note about a month ago. If taken action, I can forward just that note. Basically, it's a reduced set of instructions, but we do need everybody onto UIT because the UIT environment is enduring, and the SIT will probably endure, but we want the UIT. The role of the UIT environment is to hold all the registration information, whilst the information in the SIT is not considered to be the same quality as the information in UIT, and we all need it in one place. So yes, we ask everybody to onboard into UIT, and for those coming through from SIT, it's a much reduced set of instructions. It shouldn't take you too long.
Okay, so we have to set up the certs, everything in the UIT as well, right?
No, you don't. But again, I've point to the guidance note, which I can forward to you.
Yeah, another thing to check in SIT, suppose if we have the more MPITs and DIP IDs, and as part of qualification, we are not willing for all. So in that case, we don't want all the DIP IDs to move to prod. So is it from the SIT to UIT, it will be taken care, or from UIT to prod, it will be taken care to remove those additional DIP IDs?
So UIT should be a reflection of what's in production, and what you're qualifying against. So yeah, UIT is effectively what you're qualified for. If you've got test DIP IDs and MPIDs, they can remain in SIT. They won't be copied over to UIT.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Thanks.
Anything else so far?
Okay, so
Sorry.
someone else?
Yeah, just a
Hi, Robert.
quick question. Would you expect SMS to be in UIT if we're not placing reliance on anyone?
Yeah, everybody needs to be in UIT. Everybody.
Okay.
That's where the export is happening from. It's as simple as that. DCPs, Elexon, Retco, you know, all. So effectively, UIT is a copy of production. The trouble is, in UIT, there was lots of test organisations that obviously they won't go across, but everything will be in production will be in UIT.
Okay, so yeah, we'll need to set up in UIT. Obviously, we're in SIT A and SIT B, but not in UIT.
Yeah, Rob, it's really a simple exercise, and again, we can point you to the file note that was produced, say, a month ago, which talks about what SIT participants and the when they act on behalf of somebody else, what's it called? The term, the placing reliance. The placing reliance parties, the actions that they need to do as well. So the thing is that the placing reliance parties, they haven't actually gone through the process of actually generating certificates before. So we do recommend the placing reliance parties, well, they have to do their global sign-up onboarding for a start, and that can take time. So the placing reliance parties, in the guidance note, we say you've got to do your global sign onboarding because it can take time. You don't want to have to build that into your timescales when you get promoted from your PAB into production. That's got to be done as soon as possible, really.
Ellie Crawford.
Hi, Ellie.
Hello. So this is, yeah, so I sort of started this a while ago just on my little comment in the chat, but I think this is the problem for SIT participants, and as raised at GLIG on Friday, we haven't had that clear steer in terms of SIT participants, whether placing reliance or in SIT, about getting onboarded into UIT. So, you know, those invitations or notification to say, everyone, you need to get onboarded now, hasn't happened. So I think some real clear direction around timescales based on those pathways will be really helpful for those that need to get to UIT and to prod. And yeah, it might mean another webinar perhaps for those of us in that position.
So Ellie, yeah, I've seen your email. So take your specific example. We need a name for, so anybody that's in SIT. Sometimes we're struggling with who is your primary user admin in UIT, because a lot of the organisations that were in SIT have got many people that have been sort of in the DIP portal.
Could be that primary and secondary contacts from the programme for each organisation, you could email out to them and we can advise. Okay,
we've taken. I think we can get Heidi on this as well. We can she can liaise with PPC to find out who in SIT needs to send it. We've been starting this today, but we need to send out emails to them.
Thanks, Rob.
Terry Hamilton.
Hi, Terry.
Hi, Rob. Just a quick question. If you've already verified your domains for UIT in Global Sign, do you need to do it again for production, or is that already done?
That's already done.
Okay, well, one less things to do. Thank you.
Yeah, so we try and do much of the work up front as possible. So the point I was going to raise is it's a bit off topic, but it's going to be. I know we're getting closer to M10, etc. Guidance notes on MDRs will be coming out very soon. There is some work, a little bit of work for suppliers to do, or anybody wanting to use the MDR role to do in the DIP. You'll need to claim a DIP ID. So guidance will hopefully be going out next week. And anybody that wants to use the extended MDR functionality, please reach out to us, because we're still waiting for people to tell us we want to use the extended MDR. It's a bit of a sales pitch, really. It's nothing to do with the promotion to production, but anybody that's hoping to use the extended MDR functionality, please reach out to us and talk to us, because we're trying to find people that want to use it so we can start testing.
Rob, on that, we did reach out previously to say.
Okay. Good. Yes. Sorry, Rob. Some of these comms get lost between different. If you reach out to me personally or DIPManager, that'd be great.
Okay.
So probably comms will probably be going out, if not this week, next week, because I'm writing a guidance note on MDR onboarding into the DIP, which hopefully be ready by the end of the week. Any other questions?
No. All good.
All good. That's all clear as day to everybody. So if you've got any questions on this, please contact DIPManager on the DIPManager mailbox, or your qualification analyst if you've got any issues about when your move to production will be. It's all linked to your PAB approval. We will receive an email from the PAB to say these parties are qualified, so you don't need to contact us directly. That will happen between the PAB and DIPManager. So if there's any more questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to the DIPManager mailbox. We'll try and answer them as soon as possible. Obviously, we've got a heavy demand at the moment, so please be patient with us. But if it has been more than a week, it may have got lost. Apologies. Just please reach out again. I don't mind people sending multiple emails. Things do get, because I say we're so busy at the moment. If you haven't felt you've got a quick enough response, just reach out, but it can take a couple of days. Okay, call it a day. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks everyone for joining.
Cheers all. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Cheers, bye.
Bye-bye.